So there's this guy named Jake Mercer, right? Maintenance technician on the interstellar research vessel Curious Endeavor. Not the brightest star in the galaxy, but not the dimmest either. Somewhere in that dangerous middle zone where you're competent enough to get access to restricted areas, but curious enough to make everyone regret giving you that access. Jake's job is pretty simple. Fix things that break, make sure the air keeps circulating, and for the love of all that's holy, don't touch anything in the science labs. 3 basic rules. He manages to follow 2 of them on a good day. Enter Krillax. Picture a botanist, except with 4 arms, perpetually twitching antennae, and the nervous energy of someone who's had 17 espressos, but it's actually just his default state. Krillax is the kind of alien who labels his labels and has a color-coded system for his color-coded systems. He's been cataloging deadly flora from Verdant 7 for 6 months, and his life's work is currently sitting in Quarantine Lab 3. Today, Krillax needs someone to recalibrate the atmospheric sensors in said lab. He specifically requested anyone but Jake. Guess who got assigned? You will touch nothing. Krillax says, all 4 hands gesturing emphatically. Nothing. Not the samples, not the containers. Not even the air if you can help it. Jake nods, already eyeing a particularly shiny specimen in the corner. Got it. Hands to myself. Like a museum. No, not like museum. Museum has harmless artifacts. This has plants that can kill you in ways your language doesn't have words for yet. Relax, Doc. I'm a professional. Krillax's antennae droop in what can only be described as preemptive despair. Krillax leaves Jake alone for exactly 5 minutes. 5 minutes. He goes to retrieve a calibration tool from storage, muttering prayers to botanical deities that may or may not exist. In those 5 minutes, Jake spots it. A cluster of berries, purple like a sunset, hanging from a branch in a reinforced containment unit. The thing is practically glowing. There are 3 separate holographic warning signs floating around it. Skull symbols, biohazard markers. One that's just flashing red with the word "no" in 17 languages. But here's the thing about Jake Mercer. The thing that makes him uniquely, spectacularly human. Those berries smell exactly like grape candy. The cheap kind from Earth gas stations that's probably 40% artificial flavoring and 60% questionable chemicals. And Jake hasn't had anything that tasted like home in 8 months. He pops one in his mouth. The berry is actually kind of disappointing. Bland, mealy texture. He's chewing thoughtfully when Krillax walks back in, sees Jake's jaw moving, and drops the calibration tool. It clatters on the floor in slow motion, or at least that's how Krillax will remember it in his nightmares. What is in your mouth? Jake swallows. Berry? Which berry? Jake points at the container. Krillax's skin shifts from its normal blue to a pale, sickly green. All 4 arms start flailing independently. That is mortis fruit. Mortis. The name literally means death. It is lethal to 47 confirmed species. You have maybe 2 minutes before your organs liquefy. Jake considers this. You got any salt? It's kind of bland. Somewhere in the ship's computer core, Vera, the vessel's AI, updates her logs. Incident 247, human stupidity. Estimated time of death, imminent. Estimated paperwork, excessive. Personal notes. Why do I even bother? Krillax is scrambling for emergency medical supplies, all 4 hands grabbing different antitoxins. Do not move, do not breathe heavily. Do not metabolize. Pretty sure I can't stop that last one, Doc. Your heart rate. What is your heart rate? Jake checks his wristband. 72. Pretty normal for me. Normal. Normal. You should be in convulsions. You should be bleeding from orifices you didn't know you had. Krillax jabs Jake with 3 different hyposprays simultaneously. Why are you not dying? Jake shrugs. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Mostly just needed seasoning. You guys got hot sauce on this ship? Vera's voice crackles over the intercom, dripping with synthetic sarcasm. Alerting Captain Voss. Logging cause of death as terminal stupidity. Preparing condolence templates. I'm not dying. Yet. Vera responds. The key word is yet. Captain Theron Voss arrives at a dead sprint, which is impressive considering he's a Felixian, and usually moves with the casual indifference of a cat who's already knocked everything off the counter. He bursts through the quarantine lab door, expecting to find Jake's liquefied remains being scraped into a specimen bag. Instead, Jake's sitting on a lab stool, swinging his legs, while Krillax takes his blood pressure for the 4th time. Still 72/80. Jake reports helpfully. Theron's ears flatten against his skull. Krillax, your distress signals said we had a catastrophic contamination event and imminent crew fatality. We do. Krillax waves all 4 arms at Jake, like he's evidence at a trial. He consumed mortis fruit 12 minutes ago. He should be a puddle, a human-shaped puddle. I feel fine, Jake interjects. Little hungry, actually. Theron rubs his temples with both paws. He's been captain of this floating circus for 3 years, and has aged at least 10. Vera, run full diagnostics on Mercer, medical and biological. Already running, Captain. And might I say, this is the most entertainment I've had since Ensign Drax tried to microwave a Plutonian egg. The diagnostic results flash across the holographic display. Krillax's antennae shoot straight up. That's impossible. His system is breaking down the toxins, not neutralizing them, not storing them, breaking them down into constituent proteins and sugars. He's digesting them like they're nutrients. Is that bad? Jake asks. Bad? Bad? My entire PhD thesis assumes universal toxin lethality across carbon-based life forms. You are destroying decades of xenobotanical theory by existing. Theron sighs deeply. So he's not dying. No. He's metabolizing something that should kill him and apparently contemplating a snack. Jake perks up. Hey, is the commissary still serving those weird noodle things? Vera chimes in. Captain, I'm detecting elevated interest from the ship's network. News of the human surviving mortis fruit has reached the crew. We have 47 requests for video footage and 6 betting pools on whether he'll eat something else. Theron's tail lashes. Shut down the betting pools. Shutting down the public ones. The private ones are beyond my jurisdiction, apparently. Krillax is staring at Jake like he's a particularly fascinating fungus. The kind that shouldn't exist but does anyway, just to spite biology. We need to run tests. Extensive tests. This could revolutionize our understanding of human physiology. Or, Jake offers, we could just accept that humans have eaten some pretty questionable stuff over the years and call it a day. Questionable stuff? Yeah, you know. Raw fish. Fermented shark. Mushrooms we literally call death caps for fun. My uncle ate gas station sushi once and lived to tell about it. We're built different, Doc. Krillax's antennae quiver. Your species consumes things called death caps recreationally. Well, not those death caps. Different death caps, usually. Theron holds up a paw. New ship rule, effective immediately. Jake Mercer is banned from all science labs, unless accompanied by armed supervision and possibly a leash. I'm standing right here, Captain. I know. That's why I'm saying it to your face. News travels fast in space. Faster than light, apparently, because within 6 hours the galactic research community is losing its collective mind. Krillax's personal comm is blowing up with messages from xenobiologists, toxicologists, and one very confused food critic from the Andromeda sector. Jake's become an accidental celebrity. There's a thread on the Galactic Science Forum with 40,000 replies titled, Human Eats Mortis Fruit, Asks for Seasoning, Refuses to Elaborate. Half the replies think it's a hoax. The other half are trying to calculate the statistical impossibility of human survival. Krillax, despite his earlier existential crisis, is now vibrating with scientific excitement. Jake, I need you to understand something. If your digestive system can process mortis fruit, we need to know what else it can handle. This could save lives, prevent accidental poisonings, revolutionize cross-species cuisine. You want me to eat more poison? Technically, it's only poison to non-humans. For you, it's apparently a mid-tier snack. Jake leans back in his chair. What's in it for me? Krillax's antennae perk up. He's prepared for this. Co-authorship on the research paper. A footnote in xenobiological history, and I'll personally ensure the commissary stocks Earth food. Real Earth food? Not the synthesized stuff? I will requisition actual imported Earth snacks, the ones with ingredients you can't pronounce. Deal. Vera's voice drips through the speakers. Logging this as proof that humans will do anything for junk food. My faith in biological intelligence continues its steady decline. And so begins the most bizarre scientific study in recent galactic history. Krillax sets up a controlled testing environment. Jake sits at a table with a rating pad, a glass of water, and the expression of a man who's made questionable life choices but is committed to seeing them through. First sample, crimson widow flowers. Lethal to 62 species, causes immediate respiratory failure. Jake chews thoughtfully. Tastes like spicy lettuce. 3 out of 10. Too fibrous. Krillax is taking notes so frantically he's using all 4 hands. Spicy. He said spicy. The compound that causes respiratory paralysis registers as spicy. Second sample, void moss. Known to cause catastrophic neural damage. Slimy. Weird aftertaste. Like licking a battery. 2 out of 10. Would not recommend. He's comparing neurotoxins to electrical components, Krillax mutters. Human taste receptors are apparently connected to their danger sense. Or they have no danger sense. Still determining which. Third sample. Silver bells. Beautiful, fragrant, and fatal to everything that's ever tried to eat them. Jake's face lights up. Oh, now we're talking. This one's actually good. Sweet, floral, like honeysuckle. 7 out of 10. Needs to be served cold, maybe in a salad. You want to make salad from a plant that killed an entire research team last year. I mean, they probably didn't pair it right. You can't just eat this stuff plain, Doc. It needs context, complementary flavors. Krillax stares at his notes. Decades of education, 3 advanced degrees, a lifetime of careful scientific study, and here's a human maintenance technician giving him culinary advice about weapons-grade botanicals. Your species is biologically improbable. Yeah, we get that a lot, Jake says, reaching for sample number 4. What's this one do? That one causes spontaneous cellular combustion. Jake takes a bite, chews, swallows. Peppery. 6 out of 10. Goes pretty well with the silver bells, actually. You ever think about making pesto? Somewhere in the ship's computer core, Vera updates her files on humanity. The notes are getting increasingly concerning and somewhat admiring in equal measure. By day 3, Jake's tasting sessions have gone viral. And I mean galaxy-wide viral. There are reaction videos, compilation clips, and a remix of Jake saying, "Needs salt" set to dubstep that's somehow charting on 12 different planets. The Galactic Gourmet Network wants to offer him a show. A Krellian celebrity chef has challenged him to a cook-off using deadly ingredients. There's merchandise, actual merchandise, t-shirts, that say, "I survived mortis fruit, and all I got was this lousy shirt," in 40 languages. Theron is in his office, head in his paws, wondering if he can retire early. Vera, tell me we can contain this situation. Captain, 3 different research vessels have requested permission to dock. A entertainment conglomerate is offering Jake a 6-figure contract. And someone started a religion based on his digestive system. I wish I was joking about that last one. Of course they did. The worst part? A rival research team from the Prometheus Institute has actually shown up, led by a particularly smarmy Valorian scientist named Kretch. He's all smiles and fancy credentials, claiming he wants to collaborate on studying the human anomaly. What he really wants is to steal Krillax's research, publish first, and take all the credit. It's academic politics at its finest, which is to say, it's terrible. Kretch shows up in the lab with his own team and camera drones. Fascinating work you're doing here, Krillax. Of course, without proper institutional backing and peer review, I worry about the validity of your findings. Krillax's antennae flatten. My findings are perfectly valid. Oh, I'm sure they are. But perhaps the Prometheus Institute could provide more rigorous oversight. And naturally, we'd need to relocate the test subject to our facilities. Jake looks up from sample number 17, a phosphorescent mushroom that supposedly causes hallucinations and temporary blindness. I'm right here, dude. And I'm not going anywhere. Surely you'd prefer working with professionals who can properly compensate you for your contribution to science. I'm getting Earth snacks and my name on a paper. I'm good. That's when sample 17 kicks in. Jake's eyes start glowing faint blue. He giggles. Hey, Doc, is the room supposed to be breathing? Oh no, Krillax says. Oh yes, says Vera. This is exactly the content I've been waiting for. Jake stands up, still giggling, and walks directly into a wall. Wall wasn't there before. Weird. His skin is now emitting a soft bioluminescent glow. He looks like a human-shaped glow stick. Kretch is filming everything. Clearly, this experiment is being conducted without proper safety protocols. The human is fine, Krillax insists, even as Jake tries to high-five his own reflection and misses. This is a temporary side effect. I can taste colors, Jake announces. Purple tastes like Wednesday. Theron arrives just in time to see glowing, giggling Jake attempting to explain the flavor profile of temporal concepts to a horrified Kretch. What in the name of the great cat mother is happening in my ship? Science, Krillax and Vera say simultaneously. Then corporate shows up, because of course they do. Representatives from the Exotic Cuisine Corporation want to hire Jake as an official taste tester for extreme dining experiences. They're offering ridiculous money, full benefits, and a hazard pay package that could buy a small moon. Theron is now dealing with rival scientists, corporate lawyers, a glowing human who's trying to lick the wall, and a mounting headache that's reaching supernova levels. Vera, prepare the airlocks. For the corporate representatives or the scientists, Captain? Yes. The lab has descended into complete chaos. Kretch is arguing with corporate lawyers who are arguing with Krillax, who's trying to monitor Jake's vitals, while Jake, still bioluminescent and higher than a satellite, is conducting an impromptu lecture on how gravity feels like velvet. Theron's done. He's beyond done. He's lapped done twice and is approaching a state of transcendent exhaustion that most species can only achieve through meditation or heavy sedation. He slams both paws on the lab table. The sound echoes. Everyone stops. Everyone who doesn't work on this ship has exactly 30 seconds to leave before I have Vera vent this section to space. And before you start citing legal precedent, remember that maritime law is very flexible when the captain is this close to a nervous breakdown. The corporate representatives start pulling out data pads with contracts. Kretch opens his mouth to protest about scientific integrity. Theron's pupils dilate to predator mode slits. They leave, quickly. Jake, finally coming down from his glowing giggle fit, blinks slowly. His skin is fading back to normal human color. Did I miss something? You became a walking mood light and tried to explain quantum physics through interpretive dance. Vera offers helpfully. I have recordings. They're already being used as evidence that humans should not be trusted with science. Krillax is frantically checking his data, all four hands working different interfaces. The bioluminescence is fading. Neural activity returning to baseline, which for humans is apparently controlled chaos. He's going to be fine. Define fine, Theron mutters. Alive and unlikely to explode. That's the human standard, apparently. Jake stretches, yawns. So, I've been thinking. This whole thing has gotten kind of out of hand. You think? Theron's tail is doing that aggressive swish thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to help with the research, but I'm not trying to be galaxy famous or start some weird tasting show. I just fix air filters and occasionally eat things I probably shouldn't. He looks at Krillax. Doc, you seem cool. And you're actually trying to do real science here, not just make money off my weird human gut. So, here's what I'm thinking. Krillax's antennae perk up cautiously. I'm listening. I'll keep helping you test samples. You get your research paper done properly. We share credit like we agreed. But you also help me keep all these corporate vultures and fame-hungry scientists away from me. Deal? Krillax's expression shifts through several emotions. Relief, gratitude, a touch of that scientific excitement that got him into xenobotany in the first place. Deal. I can work with that. I'll handle the academic side. You handle the not dying side. And I want approval on anything that gets published. No making me look like a circus freak. You have my word. This will be proper science. Rigorous. Respectful. Revolutionary. Yes, but grounded in genuine research. Not sensationalism. Theron looks between them. And I'm establishing new ship protocols. Effective immediately. Rule 742. Humans require direct supervision in all scientific areas. Rule 743. Any food-related experiments must be approved by both the science officer and the captain. Rule 744. If it glows, Jake doesn't eat it without medical standing by. That's fair, Jake admits. Vera's voice carries a note of what might be approval, if AI could feel such things. Updating ship regulations. Also updating my human database entry. Previous entry. Humanity. Biologically improbable space orcs with concerning dietary habits. New entry. Humanity. Biologically improbable. Gastronomically unstoppable. And occasionally reasonable when properly motivated. Is that a compliment? Jake asks. From me? It's practically a love letter. 3 weeks later, Krillax submits his research paper to the Galactic Journal of Xenobiology. The title, Human Digestive Resilience, Why Evolution Sometimes Just Shrugs. Co-authored by Krillax of Verdant Research Station and Jake Mercer of the interstellar vessel Curious Endeavor. The paper becomes the most downloaded publication in xenobiological history. It revolutionizes cross-species food safety standards, opens new avenues of toxicology research, and somehow makes both authors minor celebrities in academic circles. Jake's quoted in the abstract. Turns out billions of years of humans eating questionable mushrooms, spoiled meat, and whatever that thing in the back of the fridge was really prepared us for the galaxy. Who knew? The commissary now stocks real Earth snacks. Krillax has funding for 5 more years of Tensted. Research. Theron has 3 new stress management protocols, and a prescription for whatever the Felixian equivalent of anxiety medication is. And Jake? Jake's back to fixing air filters and recalibrating sensors. Except now, once a week, he sits in Krillax's lab, rates alien plants on a 10-point scale, and occasionally suggests which ones would work well in a stir-fry. What's for dinner? Jake asks one evening, finishing up his shift. Vera responds immediately. According to the menu, Krellian stew. According to your track record, probably something that would kill anyone else but registers as mildly disappointing to your indestructible human palate. Perfect. I'm starving. Theron, overhearing this on the bridge, puts his head in his paws. Vera, how many more years until my retirement? 4 years, 7 months, 12 days. But who's counting? I am. Constantly. And somewhere in the lab, Krillax stares at his successful research paper on the holographic display, then at the new samples from Verdant 7, then at his calendar showing Jake's next testing session. He smiles. All 4 arms reach for his organizational stylus. Science, he thinks, is weird. But it's never boring when humans are involved.